सहनावतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. May the Lord protect us. May He nourish us. May we acquire the capacity to study and understand the scriptures. May our study be brilliant and may we not cavil at each other. Om, peace, peace, peace unto us all. Dear brothers and sisters, loving Sai Ram to all of you. We welcome everyone to the Sri Sathya Sai Baba Center of Arcadia, and we are grateful to Swami for blessing us to participate in this Gita Jnana Yajna. So we are doing chapter 12, the Bhakti Yoga. So for the Gita Vahini, the commentary, it is chapter 21, page 96, if it is the soft copy. If you have the book, hard copy, this edition, we have page 197. So we are going to start saying that each member of the living species has many-sided love. That is where we are going to start today. But for the sake of continuity, at least let us recapitulate few major points, because it says every word of God is a mantra. Every sentence is a sutra, aphorism. And every talk of Swami is a Gita. Every discourse is a Veda. So remember, like this is very important. So that means every word of God is so important. So actually one time I was hearing, so Swami was talking to the students, he was teaching them yoga, Patanjali Yoga Sutra. All of you know, right? We talked about it, Ashtanga, but there are 8 parts of Patanjali. What are those 8 things? Anyway, you want to quiz, I'll say Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, then Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. So then he was telling and explaining everything. Then he says, did you read Bhagavad Gita? You say, no, because Swami's teachings are essence of all scriptures. Swami says, very important. You should read Bhagavad Gita. It gives so many revelations of the ultimate truth. It's important. Swami himself, that is why of all the things, Swami wrote Bhagavat Vahini, comment on Bhagavatam. He wrote Ramakatha Rasa and Ramayanam. But Bhagavad Gita, he gave a lot of importance. He wrote the commentary Gita Vahini, and he gave discourses many times on Gita. Once in 1984, I think, the series of Divine Discourse on Bhagavad Gita. Another time also, I think it was Swami gave a series of discourses. Swami loves Gita because he's the same Lord Krishna come again as Sai Krishna. So it is important. So you should go back always to the original text. Along with that, the Swami's commentary you enjoy better, then you get more in-depth understanding. So we are talking about that, these things where Arjuna asked the question, which is the better path, the worshipping Saguna or Nirguna. That means God with form or ultimately without name, form and attributes. Then Swami said, anything you do with faith, one-pointedness, always keeping your mind, then that is a good path. Then the question happened that people with body consciousness, which many of us have, right? So it is not easy. It is possible, but not easy. It is difficult. So that is why Swami said, remember, these are like spiritual formulas. Saguna Bhakti is the path. Nirguna Bhakti is the goal. So that you should remember it like an imprint, like Newton's law, gravity. There's like you have every action has equal and opposite reaction. Some of those things you know that, right? Physics, laws, and chemistry. Here, important is Saguna Bhakti is the path, Nirguna Bhakti is the goal. So all of us need, that means don't end up in Saguna Bhakti. You should think, pray to Swami, take me towards Nirguna Bhakti. And here, Swami also, another thing in the scriptures, it is said, Pradhamam Pratima Puja. We worship God with pictures. In like we have Buddha Vihara, we have Rama statue, Shirdi Baba. That is worship with them. That is good, but beginning. Madhyamam Japastotradikam. Next stage is go on repeating his name, Japa, and we sing the bhajan. That is good, next stage. Then you should not get stuck, right? You want to stay in the elementary school all the time, then you want to go to high school, right? Then you want to go to college, then you want to graduate, then you want to do PhD, then you want to finish all the studies, then you graduate. Similarly, Madhyamam Japastotradikam. What is the next stage? This I said before. Please, all of you remember that, not just mechanical. I want you to ingrain. Uttamam Manasi Puja, mental worship. That is why Adi Shankara, he wrote Manasika Stotram of Shiva. How to just without going anywhere, no going temples, no going any place, just sitting in one place, you worship the Lord, mental worship. That is very high worship. Even better than that, Uttamo Soham Puja Uttamottamam. Ultimately realizing you are that Lord Shiva, you are that God. The Swami says, I am God, nothing but God. That is the last stage. So that is why Swami, another beautifully he said, first stage is Bhautika Bhakti. What all we do, also called Gauna Bhakti, Sri Ramakrishna calls it Gauna Bhakti. What all we do, go to the temples, we worship this, we do observe the festivals, we do these homas, we do yajnas. That is all Bhautika Bhakti. Then you should go to Ekanta Bhakti, where one pointedly you should there be absorbed in God, one-to-one. Because his address is where? What is the address God said? Is it Vaikunta? Is it Kailasa?
Hridaya.
Hurdeshe Arjunat. Ishvara Sarvabhutanam Hurdeshe Arjuna Tishtati. So, I'm Tishtati, I'm just indwelling in your heart, nowhere else. Then Brahmayan Sarvabhutani Yantra Rudhani Mayaya. So like a puppeteer, like you go to the thing, makes the puppets go around. Similarly, he is the one staying in our heart, makes us all dance around like puppets. So his address is only one. It is not Makkah, it is not Vatican, it is not Bethlehem, it is not Shirdi, it is not Patti, it is not Kashi. That's all nice places of pilgrimage. Ultimately, our address which goes along wherever we go is the heart. So that is why he says you should develop from Bhautika to Ekanta Bhakti to Ananya Bhakti, where you realize the Soham. And then that is one important point, path and the goal. Second thing is, in spirituality, we always, in life, think these three things are separate. God, Jiva,
Jagat,
and Ishvara. Very good. So, we embodied beings, this whole creation, what we see, and the God Supreme, the Creator, we think are separate. But the ultimate truth is they're not separate. They're all the same. You are God, His nature is God, and God is God. So everything is one. So for that, what is the example Swami gave? We did this just last week. The handkerchief, I said. So cotton, first, how did the hand? Without cotton, can you get the handkerchief? The cloth? No. First cotton. From that, you get the yarn, threads. And from the threads, you put them together, it becomes a cloth. Whether you call it handkerchief, whether a shirt or a pant, you make many things. But first, all these three, cotton, yarn, and the cloth, they're all one. Similarly, Jiva, Jagat, and Ishvara, they're all one. There is another important thing Swami emphasized. And then he says, don't try to separate, like even whenever, that is what beautiful Swami says, Shankaracharya Shlokam, Pashyannapicha Pashyati Mudho. Mudho means we are all ignorant. You see, but still you don't see. Pashyanapi, you are seeing it, but you don't see. You don't see the real thing. Real thing is God, but because of your ignorance, you are not recognizing that. So we need to realize everything is divine. And last week we talked about many examples. Consciousness is in everything. We gave the examples of the handkerchief, mountain, the trees, lakes. That's why in Rudram everything is, whether it's a lake, a river, whenever you go and see around them, you should feel that. Like one time I told Swami when I went there, Swami, because when I go there in the Arcadia drive near that, there's a huge tree, and that huge, that's a beautiful thing. Swami, when I see that, I reminded of your beautiful crown of hair. So Swami didn't say it's good. So just you should remind, actually Gopikas like that, they used to think when they, oh, I'm like a twine around the tree, just about with Krishna. And when they see the clouds, oh, that the complexion of our Lord Krishna, that everything should remind you of your sweet Lord. That is what it is. You see, everything is God. And I told many stories about the handkerchief, Swami said. Anybody remembers? So that's why you should learn everything. So 3 things. One is, whenever you have Shravana, you should not go from one ear to the other ear, right? Swami said 3 kinds of people. One, they hear through one ear and gone to the ear. There is nothing registered in between. Then another person is better. They hear, but they repeat it, at least part of it. But another third category, highest, is people who hear, contemplate, digest, assimilate, and become part of them. Their life is the message. They practice in the thing. So whenever we have this study circle, anything, so please ask the question and try to discuss, and any comments you have, and recapitulate what you did, and you can go back to the original text, do that, and just that way you will have more benefit. And now we'll come to the stage, page 197, and also Swami's how he's telling that every living being, even birds, bees, insects, worms, everything has that love. We think only human beings we have love, but everything has love. That is why you see so many stories. Shirdi Baba, even you see that when you give a dog your bread piece, he said, you fed me. He says, Baba, I'm in somebody's house. How can I give you? So whenever you give any being, whether it be a cat, a dog, or anything, you are giving it to me. And another time I remember, he is a Puran Poli, you know that, right? So Puran Poli, somebody gave, and there was some these ants went and they were eating. We get upset, oh my God, we offer. Then Baba said, see, I ate through that. So even ants, everything is there. And same thing, Professor Kasturi said one time with Swami. So there were so many mosquitoes in Puttaparthi in those days, old days. I don't know any of you were there 40, 50 years ago. It was a real problem. We need to have a mosquito. My father was so particular. How can you have mosquito curtain put up? But this is an ashram, you can't have. But you have to live with this. And Swami also, he is above all those things. So, but Professor Kasturi, he loved Swami so much. He says, Swami, I want to get a mosquito curtain and put for you. He said, so that Swami says, selfish man, selfish man. Oh my God, I'm trying to do this thing for selfish man. Said, you want to have prasadam from Swami. What about mosquitoes? Don't you think they should have prasadam from me? So blood. So that is the kind of love God has for all beings. It is not just humans, for anything, including mosquitoes. So because they see only one thing exists, that is consciousness or love. So that is why he said, everything, birds, bees, insects, worms, all have this love. We should try to recognize that. So please continue.
Sairam, may I start actually the paragraph before? That's also part of the bhakti. Mm-hmm. This bhakti is not something that can be imported from somewhere. It is not something that is supplied by someone. It does not grow from the ground or fall from the skies. It wells up from oneself. It is selfless attachment to the Lord. The attachment, the love that is inherent in man, should not flow wildly in diverse channels. It should flow uninterruptedly in the direction of God. Then it becomes bhakti. This love is in every living being, birds and bees, insects and worms. All have love inspiring them, filling them to the extent that is appropriate to each. In short, love is life is love, love is life. Each member of all living species has many-sided love towards offspring, parents, comforts, guards its food and drink, its joys and plays. Each of these types of love or attachment has a distinct name suited to the objects on which it is fixed. It is called affection when directed towards offsprings. It is named infatuation when it is directed towards persons who are less fortunate. Comradeship when flowing towards equals. Attachment when extended to the goods or places. It becomes fascination in some cases, friendship in others. When it is directed towards elders and teachers and parents, it becomes reverence and humility. But bhakti is a word that is used only with reverence to love as directed to the Lord. When this love is broken up into many streams flowing in many directions and towards many points, it causes only grief, for it gets fixed on mortal things of the moment. I'll just complete the whole thing. Instead, allow the love to flow single-pointedly to the ocean of the Lord's grace. This is the sadhana called bhakti. Why waste life in salty marsh of samsara? Strive rather to reach the vast ocean of grace. There you realize yourself. You attain Sat Chit Ananda, being, awareness, bliss. How holy is that consumption? How filled with bliss? The Gopikas strove and succeeded in this sadhana every moment, under every condition. Every thought, word, and deed of the Gopikas was dedicated to lotus feet of Lord Sri Krishna. That is why the Gopikas are called yogis. When Lord Krishna himself addresses Gopikas as yogis, you can gauge the height of spiritual sadhana they had achieved. Wow, that's the number one. I think this love comes with the different names, depends on which relationship or who we directed that to. But I think that the most important thing is that uninterrupted, single-pointed, the focus and the devotion. I know we actually talked so much in chapter 2, I think verse 41, Vyavasai
Vyavasayatmika buddhi eki he kurunandana. Bahushakha anantascha buddhayo avyavasayana. Cultured mind versus uncultured mind. What is cultured mind? Vyavasayatmika buddhi.
Single point.
One pointed. And that the uncultured mind is scattered brain. They jump into this, the next moment that, like just classical case of monkey mind, which is drunk with alcohol, stung by a scorpion. So it jumps all over, right? Already monkey mind jumps, and the top of it is had a dose of alcohol, and then it was stung by a scorpion. And it's all over like that. So just you should And another simple example, Sri Ramakrishna gives very practically whenever I went to college. Says when women, they put the thread when sewing this needle, right? They put to the eye of the needle. Just to make it one point in the whole thread so that it can easily go in. If there are too many fibers there, it cannot go, right? Similarly, man is too many things like that. It is a love for God cannot go. You need to have that. These fibers are all various kinds of other loves. Because human being, there's nobody without love. Swami says, nobody with love. So you can't say anybody atheist. But what do you love? That is the only difference. Some people love so much their children, that is called Vatsalya. Some people, they love so much their wives or the spouse, that is called Moha. Some people, they love so much their bank balance and property, that is called Lobha. So these are different things, but the love, same love which goes towards God intently, that is called Bhakti. So it is okay to have the others, but we should always remember the greatest love one should have is that of love for God. Because everything is a burden. So Swami gave beautiful example. Everything is like you have a $100 coins. Dollar coins are available, I don't know, maybe 10 dimes and things for the, say, $100. So and you put it in your pocket. How heavy it is, right? It is too much burden. The same thing, you can't make a one bill with just one note, $100. It's so easy to carry. Similarly, all these loves you have for the children, parents, these heavy properties, but they convert it to love for God is the same value, right? $100. But there was heavy burden, and here it is very light, and then it takes care of everything. Still, it takes care of your needs. So the whole lesson is how to channel all our love towards God. And there are people, it is not theory, there are many great devotees and things over time, like Mirabai, Tyagaraj, Ramdas, Surdas, and all those great people, even a lot of Christian saints, Mother Teresa, Saint Francis of Assisi, Sufi saints, so many people, they dedicate their life is nothing but God. Even little kids, Prahlada, Dhruva, they all, so just, we should pray. That is why one thing you should pray God only is, one of the artis, CD artis, Shraddha Bhakti Badao, Santana Ki Seva. So please, Lord, give me more love for you, more faith, because there is a gift of God, and not everybody can have love for God. So don't think that is easy. The very fact you all came here this evening, or anytime, any function like the other day, Buddha celebration, or anything, you need the grace of God. So first we need to be grateful. Swami made me participate in this wonderful satsang or wonderful thing where we talk about you, where you sing your glory. So that is a grace. Without grace, you cannot do. I'm positive. All the great masters say that. All the people, Swami, everybody. So you should pray always. Let me be involved in loving you and serving your devotees, and then working for you. There is a beautiful thing in Bhagavatam. Ni pada kamala sevayu, ni padachakula toti neyamunu, nitanta apara bhutadayanu tapasamandar naku dayaseyugade. Lord, just let me worship your Lord's Spirit all the time. And friendship with your devotees, that is what we should try up. The real family is devotees of God. That is what you should remember. Always able to serve all beings. That is the thing for a Bhagavata, what is for a devotee of God. So this is the lesson. You need to have that one point. And then the greatest example is, you cannot, but we can't be Gopikas. That is the highest example. That is called Madhura Bhakti, where there is no difference between them and God. They are so much absorbed on God. So you cannot even know, like Uddhava, he's a great jnani. He was a friend of Lord Krishna. You know that, right, Uddhava? So he thought he's a jnani, this girl, cowherd girls of Vrindavan, they are just village girls. What do they know about bhakti? But Lord Krishna wanted to teach him. Go there and tell that, because they are missing Lord Krishna, just talk to them, teach them about your jnana. So he wants to do jnana to them. And also just Lord Krishna wrote a little letter. A lot of you might have read. Swami says, beautiful story. So then they gave the letter and just said, they said, this is the letter Lord Krishna gave you. So just read it. He tells Gopikas, Uddhava, you read it. No, 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 you read it. He says, one lady girl says, Gopika, if I look at it, I'll be so much crying. The whole letter will be wet. I can't read that. And then another girl says, I have Virahagini. That means I have so much pain and anguish of fire. Virahagini means the separation. It may burn in my hands. That means it may go into ashes. So how can... Then he says, my God, this is what real bhakti is. So Lord Krishna played the trick, Leela. So he wanted me to learn what real devotion is, not just... He had a lot of knowledge, scriptural knowledge. He was a great jnani. Uddhava, great, there is a thing called Uddhava Gita. But these gopikas had a pure, simple, innocent love. They just knew nothing but Lord Krishna. That is the kind of love we should have, like all Sri Ramakrishna, everybody, all the great, look up, the highest example is Madhura Bhakti of Gopikas. They knew nothing but Lord Krishna. That's all they wanted. That is the real example for real pure love for God. Anybody else has any? Please, this is a study circles. Any questions and comments, please do.
I also have a few more things to share. Please, I know since we completed this chapter. I think before I summarize, I want to share also the Satchit Ananda. Satyam Gnanam Anantam. Swami sings a beautiful bhajan that we follow. And also, I think mainly in the Eternal Companion, April and May, especially if you look at the April editorial, it's in there. It's so beautiful. That's from the Taittiriya Upanishad, Brahmananda Valli. Satyam is that truth. Gnanam is that knowledge or the consciousness. Ananda is that infinite, limitless bliss. And also, I love this, just a single phrase, Brahmavid apnoti param. The knower of Brahman attains the supreme. That editorial is just, especially the way the illustrations and the pictures. I mean, I was looking at it again today. I just got distracted. You can't put that thing away, not to continue. And also, what I want to share in this chapter, you said about the three prerequisites.
Anybody else read what she's talking about? Anybody in the whole group? The Taittiriya Upanishad, all these, and your Anupama, so they were part of producing that thing. They know. But anybody, so always make some time. So these are all very, because this is the definition of God. So if you don't know Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, that's why Swami sings that beautiful bhajan. I too didn't know for a long time. That is the definition. If you don't know the definition of God, just say that is the definition. Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam Brahma. So that is the thing. So many wonderful truths. We talk about Taittiriya Upanishad, that Shikshavalli, then Brahmanandavalli and Bhruguvalli. So just, it is really a spiritual guide for all of us to tread the path you should need. Because everybody wants happiness, right? You want happiness or no? Everybody, but really where the happiness is. Because God is so smart. He gave everything for in front of us. Two things he kept it himself hiding. Everything you said, take, you can carry nice cars, you can go nice gardens, you can go nice family. Two things he didn't kept it. See who wants to come. One is happiness, second is peace. So if you want those two things, only you can have from him. Everything else you can have, houses, property, family, friends, outside, everything you can go. But these two things, only it is in his possession. You have to go to him. So if you want peace and happiness, go to God. Go ahead.
And also, this is from the Krishna Yajurveda, Taittiriya Upanishad, and also the bhajan about our opening prayer that we sing, Sahanavavatu, is also from the Brahmananda Valli Taittiriya Upanishad. And also you shared prior satsangs, another 3 prerequisites, because this is the Yoga Bhakti chapter 12. I have like 5 points to share really quick.
No, just say this is more for a discussion, so it is not just me saying. Everybody should, any questions, comments, how you understand each one. Even myself, I remember Gita, I read when I was like Nyansi age, when I was primary school, high school. Each level, when as I grow, the same shloka, no different, but makes a difference meaning. Because depending upon your growth and spiritual maturity, the same thing you understand so much different. So it is good. So go on, give the comments.
So the 3 prerequisites for a devotee to attain the Lord is, one is the sense control, and number 2 is the equanimity, which is samatva, yoga ichite. We talked very elaborately in chapter 2 also. And the samadrushti, that equal-minded towards all beings. And then after that, we get 4 options to become the dear to the Lord. Either we could keep him in mind all the time. If we can't do that first option, second option is abhyasa, repeated effort. And if we can't do that, then go to do all Lord's actions. Even if that's difficult, the last thing is surrender, renounce all the fruits of actions, 4 options. And also in this chapter was so beautifully, the Triveni Sangam, Bhakti is described as waters of Ganga. And then karma is described as waters of Yamuna. And Gnanam is described as a Saraswati, those 3. And also I think how, I don't know, this is what I just thought of, is that if you're pure and have that devotion and do the karma with a pure mind, I think Gnana, the way how Saraswati, the little river, that flows very secretly, merges with that, I think the Gnana will just beautifully, that path comes, Gnana path.
Where is Triveni? I gave you the story one time last week or 2 weeks back. Shirdi Baba, that Das Ganu, he was saying, oh Baba, I want to go to Triveni, Prayag. Why do you want to go there? It is, see, touch, and when he does the salutation of the Lord, there's the Ganga Yamuna card. So that means we hold on to your Guru, God. For us, he will, all the 3. So you will have Bhakti, Jnana, and Vairagya. Because that is all the things necessary, but if you have the pure love for your Guru and God, he will give. Actually, Lord Krishna says that we talked, Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam. He says people who do this with love, they have bhakti towards me, satata priti purvakam, with so much love, dadami buddhi yogam, you don't need to worry about, like, I will give you jnana. I asked this question to Swami, really? Then because we don't want to just think it is easy to think about him, love him, chant, so he will give the jnana to me. Yes, for sure, if you have that kind of faith, he didn't say that sure he will give. If you have that kind of faith class, then you should have absolute faith that if I love him with all my heart, soul, and strength, he will give me the jnana. That kind of intense love he had, he will give you the jnana. So we should not think compartmentally. All these 3 are interrelated. If you have love for something, you want to know about him more and more. If you have, then you want to serve him more and more. So all 3, Bhakti, jnana, and karma, they are not separate. They are all intertwined, integrated, interrelated.
And also the one thing I really love about Avibhakta, the non-separable from Lord, that intense we need. And the last one I want to share is to have that strong conviction that the doer, the deed, and the process of doing all is Bhagavan, the Lord.
Good. You made a lot of good notes there. They said, Bhakti definition is, Swami said, what is Bhakti? Not to have vibhakti is Bhakti. It means not separation. God is separate. That is vibhakti. You are separating God and me. Not to have vibhakti is Bhakti. And same thing, bhajana. What is bhajana? Not to have a bhajana. Because people go on the name of bhajana, I want to sing, he sings, they go on fighting. That's one of the most common sources of differences people have, not only here, including Prashanti Nilayam. There's a Swami, some great singers, he fired them, just they were great. Because next time I don't see them, what happened? Because it is Swami doesn't not only how your raga, tala is there, but bhava is important and purity. So if they have too much goes to the ego, then he does. So it is happens all over. So not to have vibhajana is bhajana. Similarly, not to have vibhakti is bhakti. Another definition is Bhagavantuni pai rakti bhakti, Swami said. We have intense, pure love for God. That is bhakti. That is said. You have a question?
She says that bhakti, but lack of, giving up ego and the purity of thought, word, and the harmony. And all of that is important, not just one thing. But what I wanted to share was we were talking about the consciousness. I was always fascinated with that word. And like scientifically speaking, and all the neurobiologists believed it originates in the brain because that's a sum total of all your experiences, the life you lived in, and that's how they been defining. But recently, I just stumbled upon an article in Scientific American. They just now neurobiologists are saying that the whole universe has the consciousness. What Swami has always been saying, that non-living and everything has this great one consciousness, and that is as real as the gravity and other physical phenomena. So they are now saying that we need to redefine that out of the body experience as well as the near-death experience people describe. So they are saying that consciousness doesn't just originate in one's brain. It has nothing to do with the brain, but it is a phenomena of the universe. So Scientific American carried this big article, and that is just amazing how our ancient rishis, sages, Vedas, scriptures always knew, and Swami always been saying that mountain has consciousness, that stone has consciousness. So I just want...
Everything has consciousness, including this book has consciousness, that mic has consciousness. Because he says, Lord Krishna, Mattah parataram nasti kinti dasti dhana. There is nothing but me. Every particle. Swami says beautifully, anu anuvu, kana kanamu, kshana kshanamu. So Swami, nice rhythm. Anu anuvu means every atom. Kana kana means every cell. Kshana kshana, so every moment, every cell, every atom is permeated by the divine. So that is why the scientists, we are carried away. These people are much bigger than the scientists because they have direct revelations from the Lord. But this is science. How can anybody say where is consciousness in brain? There are some, you have normal brain, but people, the same brain function differently. And same thing, life principle, you can't say where exactly it is. So our great sages and seers, they travel as much these people go outside, they travel inside. So consciousness is all pervading. So that is, you cannot confine to the place. As I said, that is ultimate is, it is truth, it is infinite, it is all pervading. So the main thing is when you don't go into the metaphysical discussion, so just practice the fundamental thing, live in love, automatically the answers will come. So that is the way to that. So we'll, if nothing else, we can conclude here. And go ahead. No, yeah, just still for a few minutes there.
Sairam, I think to summarize in simple words, the path of devotion is something study, not the study, but the steadiness. Study inward blossom of our personality through discard of all our limitations and with the new acquisitions attached to that with the true love to the Lord.
Love the Lord. Okay. Ram, so we'll continue next week.